As the 18th century gave way to the dawn of a new era, the young United States, fresh from its revolutionary triumph, faced a formidable challenge far from its shores. The Mediterranean waters, plagued by the centuries-old menace of Barbary piracy, became the stage for a conflict that would test the mettle of the nascent republic. The First Barbary War, a clash against the North African Barbary states, was a defining moment in a young America's history. The year was 1801, a time of burgeoning identities and global posturing. The young United States, still cradling the hard-won laurels of independence, faced now a challenge far from its homeland's comforting shores. The Mediterranean Sea, a crossroads of ancient trade routes and empires, now bore witness to an emerging conflict that would test the young nation's resolve. In the bustling harbors of the American East Coast, tales of Barbary piracy stirred unease among merchants and sailors. American ships, no longer shielded by British tributes in the wake of independence, found themselves vulnerable to the crosshairs of the Barbary states, consisting of Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. These North African entities, owing loose allegiance to the distant Ottoman Empire, had turned privateering into a lucrative state enterprise. They demanded tribute in exchange for safe passage, a practice reluctantly accepted by European powers for centuries. Newly elected President Thomas Jefferson viewed these demands as an affront to national sovereignty. His administration, seeking to assert the United States' presence on the international stage, grappled with a crucial decision. To pay tributes would mean to bow to foreign pressure, yet a refusal might draw the young nation into an unwanted conflict. Across the Atlantic, in the ornate halls of Tripoli's palace, Pasha Yusuf Karamanli watched the unfolding American debate with opportunistic eyes. Sensing both vulnerability and potential in the new nation, he audaciously demanded an increase in tribute. This act was both a test of American resolve and a bid to strengthen his own standing in the complex web of Barbary politics. Jefferson's response was firm and unequivocal. No more tributes. This defiance rattled the status quo, challenging the long-standing tradition of acquiescence to Barbary demands. The Pasha of Tripoli, perceiving this as a slight to his authority and an opportunity to assert dominance, declared war on the United States. News of this declaration reached American shores with a mix of shock and indignation. The United States, still consolidating its internal unity, now faced a daunting external threat. The American public, with memories of the Revolutionary War still fresh, braced themselves for a conflict that echoed the same cries for freedom and sovereignty. The stage was set for a confrontation that would extend far beyond the diplomatic tables and into the turbulent waters of the Mediterranean. The First Barbary War, as it would come to be known, was not just a test of military might, but a defining moment in the shaping of American foreign policy and the nation's identity on the world stage. It was a conflict that would underscore the principles of international commerce, naval power, and the unyielding pursuit of national interests. August 1801. The vast expanse of the Mediterranean Sea becomes a theater of American determination and naval strategy. Under the command of Commodores Richard Dale and Edward Preble, the fledgling U.S. Navy, an embodiment of the young nation's resilience, sail into the foreign waters. The fleet, comprising frigates like the industrious USS Constitution and USS Philadelphia, along with smaller schooners, carries the weight of a nation's honor and the daunting task of confronting piracy on its own terms. The mission, clear yet colossal: establish a blockade around the Barbary ports, particularly Tripoli, and protect U.S. merchant vessels from the relentless Barbary pirates. The American sailors, many seasoned by the trials of the Revolutionary War, yet untested in such distant waters, brace for a conflict unlike any they have known. As the U.S. Navy enforces its blockade, the crew aboard the USS Philadelphia, under Captain William Bainbridge, face a pivotal moment. The ship, one of the Navy's finest, runs aground near Tripoli Harbor. This incident threatens the American position, giving the Tripolitan corsairs an unexpected advantage. But from this setback springs a daring act of bravery. Lieutenant Stephen Decatur, a young officer of remarkable courage and tactical ingenuity, leads a nighttime raid to prevent the Philadelphia from falling into the hands of the enemy. Under the cover of darkness, Decatur and his men, in a bold and audacious maneuver, board the grounded ship and set it ablaze, lighting up the night sky. The successful burning of the Philadelphia, although a loss for the American fleet, is celebrated for denying its use to the enemy. This act of daring earns Decatur international acclaim and cements his place in naval lore. Meanwhile, the blockade continues to tighten. The American ships patrol the choppy Mediterranean waters, engaging in sporadic skirmishes with Barbary ships, a relentless dance of naval warfare. Each encounter, each cannon blast across the bow, serves as a testament to the U.S. Navy's growing prowess and unwavering resolve to protect American interests. Yet, the challenge is not merely a physical confrontation at sea. It's a test of endurance, strategy, and diplomacy. Commodore Preble, recognizing the complexity of the conflict, seeks to weaken the Tripolitan resolve through both force and negotiation. The blockade is much a psychological warfare as it is a display of naval strength. As the conflict rages, the American public follows with bated breath. Tales of naval engagements, of the bravery of sailors and Marines, stoke the fires of patriotism. The war against the Barbary pirates, fought in the distant waters of the Mediterranean, becomes a rallying point, a symbol of the United States' commitment to defend its citizens and uphold the principles of free navigation on the high seas. The Battle of Tripoli, as it unfolds, is not just a series of naval maneuvers and engagements. It's a defining chapter in the story of a young nation asserting itself on the global stage, willing to confront age-old challenges with a new spirit of determination and ingenuity. It is here, in these foreign waters, that the United States begins to carve its identity as a maritime power, a nation unyielding in the face of piracy and unwavering in its pursuits of justice and freedom on the open seas. As the naval stalemate persists, a new chapter unfolds, one that would take the battle from the high seas to the arid landscapes of North Africa. Enter William Eaton, a former diplomat with a fiery spirit and a tenacious resolve. Eaton, appointed as a naval agent to the Barbary States, conceives a daring plan: an overland attack on Derna, a crucial Tripolitan stronghold. This audacious strategy aims to strike at the heart of the enemy's power, a bold maneuver that, if successful, could turn the tide of the war. Eaton's plan receives hesitant support from the US government. Armed with limited resources and a commission as a general, he begins assembling his force. His eclectic army comprises a small contingent of US Marines, led by the determined Lieutenant Percy O'Brien, and an array of mercenaries, European adventurers, Arab cavalry, and Greek infantry. This diverse and motley group, bound by a common cause, sets out on a grueling march across the Egyptian desert. The journey is fraught with challenges: the scorching sun, the vast, unyielding desert, and internal disputes test the resolve of Eaton's army. Yet under Eaton's relentless leadership, they press on, driven by the prospect of striking a decisive blow against the Barbary pirates. April 27th, 1805, marks the climax of this audacious campaign. The Battle of Derna commences as Eaton's army launches an attack on the city. The Marines, embodying their newly minted motto, "To the shores of Tripoli," fight with valor and discipline. The mercenaries, inspired by the prospect of victory, engage with equal ferocity. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the sheer audacity and surprise of the assault gave them an edge. The battle rages, a clash of gunfire and steel against the backdrop of Derna's walls. The defenders, caught off guard, struggle to repel this unexpected threat. Amidst the chaos, American and mercenary forces breach the defenses, fighting their way through the streets. In a pivotal moment, the American flag is raised over the city, a historic first on foreign soil. The symbolic act signifies not just the capture of Derna, but a monumentous victory for this unconventional campaign. Eaton's strategy, once viewed with skepticism, proves its merit, showcasing American resolve and military ingenuity. The fall of Derna sends ripples across the Barbary states. It strengthens the American negotiating position and shakes the confidence of the Tripolitan leadership. This victory, achieved through a blend of marine valor, mercenary might, and Eaton's leadership, stands as a testament to the audacity and versatility of the young American military. The Desert Campaign, with its blend of diplomatic maneuvering, unconventional warfare, and sheer perseverance, encapsulates the spirit of an era where new powers emerge, old paradigms are challenged, and the sands of geopolitics are ever shifting. The Battle of Derna, fought under the scorching sun and against all odds, remains a pivotal and iconic episode in the First Barbary War. A chapter where courage, diversity, and determination converge to forge a remarkable victory in the annals of American military history. In the wake of the triumph at Derna, the tides of conflict begin to shift towards diplomacy. The victory, resounding and symbolic, reverberates through the halls of power in both the Barbary states and the United States. The Pasha of Tripoli now finds his position weakened, his resolve shaken by the unexpected loss of a key stronghold. This seismic shift in the conflict's dynamics paves the way for negotiation. President Jefferson and his administration, fueled by the news of Derna, sense an opportunity to end the conflict on favorable terms. The American public, initially wary of this distant war, now rally behind the success. Their patriotic fervor, ignited by the bravery and resilience of their sailors and Marines. Negotiations commence, leading to the Treaty of Peace and Amity. In June 1805, the treaty, while imperfect, marks the end of hostilities. The United States agrees to ransom for prisoners, but firmly refuses to pay future tributes. The resolve shown by the young nation echoes a message of defiance against piracy and tribute. The signing of the treaty is not just the end of a war, it is a statement of American resolve and a step towards defining its role in the international arena. The First Barbary War, with its blend of naval battles, diplomatic maneuvering, and unconventional warfare, closes on a note of cautious optimism. It leaves a legacy of American determination, a demonstration of how a young nation, through a combination of military might, diplomatic acumen, and sheer perseverance, could assert itself against age-old challenges and emerge with its principles intact.